be ready for the trophies, please. So we are almost done. The last stretch. I see some tired faces. One of the things that was mentioned to me last year, someone said, you know, Suhail, it's great to have all these ideas and all that, but you didn't give us any indication on how to implement, which I have to admit, this comment surprised me, because I would have thought implementation is self-explanatory, I suppose, but one cannot take this for granted. So what we want to do is a panel just discussing some of the thoughts and implementation moving forward. So this is what this panel will be about. So may I ask the following to join me on the panel? I know it's before lunch, so bear with me. May I ask the following to come to the panel to the top? Maniza Diwan, who is my partner and executive director in Falak. You can give her a clap if you want. Good. I think she deserves it, wherever you like, except that one. Yeah. Khalid Turk, my brother from EO, Hayakallah. He bribed me. He said, if I pay you, can I be on the panel? I said, yes. Yeah. May I ask Saba Salim to come on the stage as well? And I will ask someone who is absolutely not related to me, Salma Suhail Ghasaibi, can you come on the board, on the panel as well? Yes, you can give her a clap as well. Thank you. And I need, I don't know what your gestures was. You're doing this, and I don't know what you meant. Okay, we'll do it now. If they're all here, we'll do it now. Is Lena here? Okay, we'll do it later then. And I need, who was here on the Unreasonable Entrepreneur Weekend? Put up your hand high. Do you want to come on stage, Doctora? I want one of you guys to come up with us. No, you weren't on my weekend, so thank you, but no, I'm looking for someone specific. There was one or two other, who was there with me on the Unreasonable Entrepreneur Weekend? Put up your hand, I know you're still here. Where, who? Salim, come on stage, young man. Good. Give a big clap to Salim Al-Riyadh as well, please. Okay. All right. Come on, young man, come on. Thank you. Good. So, I want to ask you guys, so we've had 2 days of a very wide spectrum of speakers, right? From cutting-edge entrepreneurs to politicians to peace activists to troublemakers and various other types. What was your biggest takeaway? What are you going to do moving forward? What is your biggest takeaway? What are you going to do moving forward? And I'll leave you guys, I'll let that sink in for a moment, and then you guys decide who should go first. Maniza. Can someone pass her a mic, please?
So repeat the question again. what you said.
So, biggest takeaway? What are you going to do next in regards to this takeaway?
I think one of my biggest takeaways was from Victor's talk on peace. And when we initially thought of inviting him, I didn't understand how he fit in with the unreasonable thinking. But he said even the thought of thinking of peace in a land that has never seen peace is unreasonable. So it doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter what your background is, it doesn't matter what you've studied or not studied. All that matters is that you want to make a change. And I feel like that really affected me personally. And what I would do differently is not look for the perfect environment, not look for the most perfect situation to be able to either do something new or the most perfect knowledge to be able to do something new. I think all of, I really learned that from Victor's talk. So,
Tell us, you're working in the sort of the, let's call it the Buddhist compassion circles, if you like. Can you tell us a little bit about that work? And can I ask the guys here on the technical side, I can hear you guys speaking here, if you can just bring it down a little bit. Go on. Because you're almost, yeah, because you're doing a little bit of, in your own way, you're doing your own peace work. And you're part of this Buddhist organization. What are some of the things what's happening on that front?
So one of, I'm sure everyone's heard of Buddhism. One of our biggest tenets, or one of our biggest core, is compassion. And it is compassion for all, not judged by where they come from or who you are. And I feel that a lot of the business world is like that. We tend to judge so quickly. We tend to look at a business and say that, oh, you know, these people don't know anything, and these people will not change, and these people cannot change. Especially as consultants, we tend to do that very often. And Buddhism teaches that itself is a wrong way of looking at it. Everything has potential, everything has value, everything has something good that can come out of it. And I feel that is something Buddhism teaches me as far as work is concerned. So.
And we have a nice drilling somewhere in the background. Again, it's all part of it. It's meticulously planned, and it's exactly on time. One of the things I'm working on improving in myself, and I'm getting better, but I think I still have a long way to go, is to not judge. And really, we do it so quickly sometimes. And I never judge on race, color, background. I don't do that. But I judge on competence. And if there's something that irks me, and so I'm very quickly to judge, is this person competent or not? Will they get things done or not? And I need to often look beyond that, I think. So there's still a lot of, to just see the humanity in someone, regardless of any criteria. And that, at least in my view, that just takes a long time. That path to enlightenment is a long, long path. So yeah, thank you for mentioning that. Salim, yes. You're also a troublemaker.
Why?
Because it's the way you are. So what have you learned? What are you going to do differently?
What did I learn is from last year and this year, one of my to be an unreasonable thinker, one of my goals was to write a book or be a part of a book, and I'm happy to say that because of Unreasonable Thinking Weekend I attended, I'm part of a book called Startups. We're 37 authors. Each one of us wrote a chapter, and we're helping the startups community with our experiences, go on and see our experience, how to help them set up their entrepreneurship skills.
Great. So
this is what I had a goal and achieving. I'm actually writing 2 chapters, 1 book here and 1 book in Dubai. So this is what I learned, and I learned a lot from the speakers, and to think outside the box.
That's fine?
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Khalid, thank you. Biggest takeaway, what are you going to do differently moving forward? Can you pass him the mic, please?
Well, you know me very well as a troublemaker, so there you go. I can tell you by listening to most of the speakers today, the greatest...
And I'm sorry, Khalid, if you just give us a little bit about your background, and I should have done it with Salim as well. Apologies.
Okay. My name is Khalid Turk. I am the Chief Executive Director of a family business called Ali Abdul Jalil Turk Awlada and Sons. And we are in various sectors in terms of transport and logistics, mechanical engineering, and industrial trading. That's just the
And you've got your own other business as well.
Yes, I have my own business, which is called Synergy International, representing industrial products and services and consultancy. Right. The biggest take home is one thing that I have realized from all the speakers that they just kept repeating in my mind was the challenge the status quo. Okay? If you want to survive, you need to challenge the status quo. Otherwise, you'll be left behind. Dr. Tharoor reminded us about Jugaad, where we experienced it when we were on the trip to India. And this is something that I believe in, that anything that you create in the end becomes a very simple solution to everything that we do. In Bahrain, we need to challenge the status quo as a country as well as individuals and our businesses. So if you want to continue to develop yourself, you need to ask yourself the question as to what I can do to change. And when we see what the Japanese speaker presented about recycling and renovating and developing new products, why can't we do certain things here? Why can't we improve our way of development in our country? We have the feasibilities, we have the structure, we have the possibilities, and we have the manpower.
So tomorrow, what are you going to do differently?
What I'm doing different for myself is that I keep changing my business, okay? I keep looking for new things. Because once you start something in Bahrain, I have a name for it called the shawarma effect. Once you have a shawarma stand, you have in 1 week 7 more shawarma stands next to you. So there is like no creativity. I keep looking for something different. In my business, over the years, I have kept changing the way I provide my service to my clients, adding new facilities, exploring, developing new ways of customer services. And at the end of the day, if any one of you is in business, if your customer is not happy with you, you may as well not be in the business, because everything that we do, whether it's in hotels or it's in restaurants or it's in transportation, whatever business, you need to sell. And if you don't have something new, there are thousands of like you in the market. So I need to change what I'm doing. I need to bring something new to the table.
Okay, that's so it's newness and change and challenging the status quo.
That's right.
Selma, so you're one of the youngest here in the group. What was the biggest takeaway for you, and what do you think moving forward you will do differently?
I think the most impactful talk was Victor's talk, and how he said that people do terrible things but might still be good people or have the right intentions. So I think I learned to see the humanity in people, like he said, and to always make sure you see both sides of the story before immediately judging.
Do you think you'll change anything? Will you do anything differently?
Just the way I see people will change, but there isn't that much one could do to impact it in the daily school life.
So mainly, well, maybe you can in the school life, is because in school also it's very cliquey sometimes. You have this group, you have this guy. This guy's nerdy, this guy's athletic, this guy. So sometimes in school, it's hard not to look beyond the clique sometimes, and I think maybe trying to do that.
To look beyond the stereotype. Yeah.
Beyond the stereotypes, yes. Saba, thank you. Yes, give her a clap. So, keeping in the theme of troublemakers, yeah. And being an ex-Falaconian, you and I have worked together, I don't know, 10 or 12 years or something like that. So, and you used to help organize this summit. So the first time here you're as a delegate, which is interesting. You're a startup entrepreneur now. You've been running your own gaming studio for about a year now. And you've experienced the unreasonable process, for a number of years. Biggest takeaway, what are you going to do differently?
So I have a lot of takeaways from a lot of different talks.
You have 3 minutes.
Okay, Victor's was one of them, and he said 2 words, which really rings a bell with me all the time anyway, but it's good to have a reminder, which is choose love. And I think that comes above everything else, whether you're in business or in a relationship or making any kind of decision, to actually look at it or come at it from a place of love. And that can be also translated from a place of passion, something that you love to do. Because I think any innovation and creativity can only be sustainable if it's something that you really enjoy doing or really passionate about. So that's one thing that, thank you for reminding me of that, Victor. Dr. Shashi said something really amazing when he was talking to you, was that anyone can have a great idea for a book, but then you've got to sit down and actually open up that document and then start writing. And I think that is so important, the act of starting. So again, very good reminder. And I mean, these are things we know, but we tend to forget. And today, when Kazu was doing his talk, he said something very interesting, which I had sort of known but not looked at it in that way. He said, any new idea is just a new combination of old knowledge or existing knowledge. And then following that, I had a great breakout session with Lena where we looked at nature and how nature has been the biggest innovator, and to find that humility in ourselves to actually go to nature. And because human beings think of themselves as superior beings and we know everything and we're the best on earth out of all the creatures, but really there are so many sophisticated creatures out there that are doing things like so immaculately, so innovatively better than us. And if we look at these creatures for inspiration, we can actually do things, we can enhance our technology to be more cost effective, to actually save more human lives, and so on and so forth. So those are my a few of the major takeaways that I had. What I'm going to do differently is actually I'm going to start looking at nature more, cause it's for game ideas, because that's what I do now. So nature is very interesting, it's very beautiful, and it can actually you can look at it and make all kinds of gamifying it and everything. So yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. Maniza. So when we see clients, right, without mentioning names, though you and I would both like to mention some names of nice ones and not so nice ones, right? What do you see as the biggest barrier to them implementing the change? Can we
I think the biggest barrier is the mindset of thinking that I now have an idea and that's it. That's all that matters. It's a great idea. An idea is just an idea. The only time it becomes reality is when everybody else understands and thinks that it's their idea. To give you an example, WhatsApp, nobody came to the, no salesman came door to door to say, here's WhatsApp, let's do it. It was a need and everyone else adapted to it. So I feel the biggest issue with people is, this is my idea, I don't want to alter it, I don't want to make a difference to it, I don't want to go beyond this, that this is it and my work is done. I feel the understanding of how important or how equally important implementation is not there. So one of the things that was said yesterday on the panel, I don't remember who it was that
probably me.
No, was that we had great tech, but we had no solutions per se. There was no problem that this tech was solving. So an idea is literally, I mean, it could be fabulous, it could look beautiful, but unless there's a purpose to this idea, unless you actually have a path to how this idea is going to get to another person, it doesn't matter. So I feel that is a lot of times missing even in the people we work with. They don't understand that it is these nuts and bolts and these drawings and these charts that are important to implementing something. I feel that's really, really missing here though.
Great, thank you. Khalid, you said something about pushing change and being a change maker. If someone gave you a magic wand and said, change one thing now, right? Without saying something that's not appropriate. Yeah, right?
Okay.
If someone said, here's, you can change it, what would you change?
I'll change Bahrain to Hawaii.
I said, don't say anything inappropriate.
It's a very difficult question, but it's a very, very good question. You know, because there's to say just one thing to change.
Only one.
Will it be related to my own business or to my?
Look at the question in any way you like.
One thing that I have gone through out of my own experience, I can say, the thing that I have wanted to change is the attitude of workers.
Okay, tell us more.
I'm sorry, I'm just being a bit too direct because
tell us more.
I'm sure that this is what I'm experiencing here, is that how people relate to business and the employees at work. I have been doing some dry cleaning of my company,
Okay.
going through very, very wide changes, and seeing loyalty in staff and disloyalty in staff.
Right.
Loyalty whereby I have people who will sacrifice their time and efforts because of how I relate to them personally, and then those who simply don't care. They have other priorities, and for me, just to have an across the change of having alignment with all of my staff, it is one thing that leads to success in any business for me.
Great. Alignment of the staff.
Alignment.
Okay, great.
Alignment.
Thank you. Sabah, you've been given a magic wand. You could change one thing. What would it be?
This is such a Miss World answer, but world peace.
Can we be a bit more specific? Bahrain related, on a practical
Bahrain
level.
related.
On a practical level, you know. I mean, so you're now a new startup entrepreneur,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
You've drank the Kool-Aid or still drinking it, and
Yeah.
I believe you're going to drink it for a long time, young lady. You know. So, what would you change about that process if you could?
Well, I would. I think we have great ideas. We have great government entities that are supporting us, but it's just the regulations that need to catch up quicker than they're supposed to.
And this is after they've improved, by the
Yeah,
way. Improved.
yeah. There's still quite a few things that you're like, well, that shouldn't apply to me as a startup because it's weird, you know. So I would say the regulations to catch up to what we're all doing at the same time. That's what I would change. Yeah.
Okay. Selma?
On an international level or on a personal level?
Personal or Bahrain level? Because we all want war to end, we all want peace, we all want these things. So I think we all agree on that. I mean, other than Maniza, I think this is all what we want, you know? So yeah, go ahead.
Personally, I believe that we need to save the planet. Our environment is going to die, and like it was stated before, by 2050 or something like that, there's going to be more plastic in the ocean than actual fish. And what I want to do is expose the industries that do that, because most of pollution in the water is caused by the fishing industry, not by plastic straws. And people saying that we need to start saving the fish by not using plastic straws instead of stop eating fish to save fish. So just exposing those industries and the impacts that meat and dairy industries have on the environment and in general on your health and ethics.
Oh, wow, so you have a long way to go. A lot of work to do ahead of you. Good, well done. Perfect. Salim, same question to you, sir.
What would I change is for the knowledge to give more implementation and teach startups how to implement the changes that are happening, implement the new procedures.
Okay,
yeah.
Good. I would say, I mean, I'm not going to answer my own question because I can. What I sort of wanted to say about implementation is don't wait. You know, and here's what happens sometimes. We often wait for something to happen. I was speaking to a lady that last time I gave her a deadline to make a change was March, and she said, well, I still haven't started. So don't wait to make change. I think start right away is really important. And I want to now ask in the audience, you can either ask a question or comment about what you took away and are going to do about it. What change are you going to do? Because I'm interested in implementation, because we kind of realize that ideas are great, yeah, but if you're not going to implement, what's the point? So who wants to start? Put up your hand. If you don't put up your hand, I'm going to pick on you. Who's there? Okay, we have a lady in the dark glasses.
Yeah, if I were to change something in Bahrain.
No, sorry, I don't want you to answer that question. I want you to answer biggest takeaway and what you're going to do moving forward.
What I'm going to do, what?
Biggest takeaway over the last what is the biggest learning that you've had in the last day and a half? What are you going to do differently?
Biggest takeaway would be, yes, not be afraid of thinking out of the box and actually exploring all the options within this small country. You know, it opened up a lot of views about what we have already available in Bahrain, and which is just hidden because of lack of communication within our society.
Okay, so what are you going to do differently?
What I personally would do about it would be get out there, try to reach people socially with.
Try?
You know, yeah, during.
Try?
Will do. Well, you know, especially people who work with customers or public relations. It's very easier for them.
And when will you start?
Yeah, right away. Procrastination is not good, especially with such things. So it's really important to start right away.
And I want to just point out the words try, inshallah, you know, that kind of stuff. That's where we come after a weekend like this, a summit like this, all inspired, and then we go back to our normal habits and our routines. And change doesn't happen unless we change our habits and our routines. Thank you very much. Pass the mic to Sajjad, please, over here. Sajjad, put up your hand. What biggest takeaway? What are you going to change?
Biggest takeaway. Well, there is a lot of knowledge I gained personally through all the talks which I heard, especially from the Victor. And I mean, treating everyone in the same level. I think probably that's the biggest takeaway for me. Why is I've been personally seen, especially here, you know, different nationalities is being treated differently. And I personally think that that's not fair, because they came here to work and, you know, they are earning for their family as a breadwinner. And other also doing same. And personally, me also doing the same. I think I should, I personally think that everyone should be treated fairly and as the same. That's my biggest takeaway. That what I learned. I personally suggest also everyone should do that, so everyone feel happy and treated equally will be like.
And if I can add something to those wise words is, again, to maybe the younger members of the audience, or not so young members of the audience, is whatever you seek, give it first. If you believe that there's some unfairness, give more fairness. If you think there's a lack of love, give love. If you think whatever it is, give more of what is lacking, and it'll come back to you. Can we have the mic to Huda? I think did you put your hand up here? Biggest takeaway, what are you going to do differently?
I think we should believe in the impossible. Whatever idea we have in our mind, it might come true. What I really liked yesterday, and it's the biggest takeaway I took, which is related to humanity. He led by example, forgiveness, so it's happening. And if we spread this kind of human quality, then we can spread it out in our community and get connected with people like mine, get associated with them, and spread this kind of thoughts. That's how we can spread this kind of knowledge and forgiveness by examples, not just by saying I think, and I think it's by example.
Good.
And I'd like to thank really Victor's. I put it in my Instagram. I had lots of followers yesterday just, and some remarks about his true story, which was really amazing and authentic and genuine story. Thank you.
And mashallah, you're also very active in the space. You do a lot of things yourself. So yeah, well done, and thank you for everything that you do. Anyone else? Biggest takeaway, what you're going to do differently? We have a hand up all the way in the back over there.
Assalamu alaikum.
If you can stand up for us.
First of all, I feel like kicking myself.
Can you stand up for us, sir, because no one knows where you are.
Okay. Here I am right at the back. First of all, I feel like kicking myself because I missed Victor's speech. I had to go out. So all these mentions. Yes, you should kick yourself, yes. Yeah, all these mentions about Victor's speech, and I wonder why did I miss it. But the biggest takeaway for me was actually from the minister's speech yesterday. And one of the interesting things he said, which we don't really think about, is let's try to reduce Bahrain's import bill. Businesses that revolve around innovation, trying to reduce Bahrain's import bill. That was the biggest takeaway for me. Because I'm not Bahraini, but I love Bahrain. And really, this is something that most of the entrepreneurs should be looking at. And what I plan to do is actually look at opportunities, being an entrepreneur, to look at opportunity on how I can capitalize on that suggestion. That's
Great.
Me.
Thank you. I like that idea. Can we, Matthew, can I put you on the spot, sir? So can we pass the mic to this? Can you just put your hand up for us, please? So this young man joined us all the way from Las Vegas, the tattooed Christian. Can you biggest takeaway and what you're going to do differently?
That's good. Hi, I'm the tattooed Christian from Las Vegas. I'm inspired by what you guys are doing here. I think it's very important from a high level, from a GDP level, to focus on import-export. You know, are you consuming more than you're producing? Are you prosumers or are you consumers? And that's a really good place to start, right? In terms of creating a foreign investable country that gives value to the people. So you don't just sell a commodity overseas and then the money goes along with it. You actually produce something that can grow roots here. And one of the things you guys mentioned was Estonia, right? They got, what do they have, right? Natural resources, not really. They don't got oil, but they got smarts, they got tech. Coding is not atoms, right? You have bits and you have atoms. Atoms are physical products that you have to manufacture. They have to come from somewhere. They have to come from a mineral or a deposit or oil or whatnot. But with coding, you guys can create it anywhere in the world. And for me as a venture capitalist, I'm looking for people who are innovative in tech. I don't care where they are. There's no such thing as geography. There's no boundaries, right? You can create from your home in India. You can create from your home in Bahrain. You can create from your home in the US. So you all have the same opportunity. And from what I gather, you guys here are pushing the envelope. You guys are smartening up and taking advantage of the things that are given to you. Your government's starting to support you. Your minister's excited.
With your permission, Matthew, may I suggest, is anyone looking for a venture capitalist, go see this guy before he leaves. He's here for another few hours.
Thank you.
Grab his card. If you're a startup entrepreneur, you think you have a good idea, and he's thinking of setting up in Bahrain. So inshallah, we can make that happen. So thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
For coming. The lady that asked about the virtual CRs, may I ask you what your biggest takeaway is and what you're going to do differently? Put up your hand because you're here in the front, please. I think your name is also Samar. Yeah. Now everyone's nervous. I hope he doesn't pick on me. I might still pick on you.
So there was lots of interesting thoughts, but the speaker from Spiber,
Sikriya Masan.
Yes. The way he linked a higher value, which is peace, into what he's actually doing, which is in technology and fiber, and it's very complicated for a person like me. So, but thinking of a higher value and linking it to what you are passionate about
is, I think, the essence of a good society to be developed. So this is the biggest takeaway. Always think of a higher value of what you are doing, not only the actual.
Tomorrow, what's going to change with you?
While I'm doing my usual business, basically in HR and statistics, thinking of my clients and their higher values, how to satisfy them and my values together while doing the business.
I love it. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Any last comment? Anyone want to share before we wrap this up? Okay, we have someone in the back. Okay, we have two people in the back. So there's a young man behind you. I think he put up his hand. So once you're done, you can pass it behind him, and then we've got to wrap up. Biggest takeaway, what are you going to change?
Okay, so every person needs to have an impact and have to make a stand. Every person has this ability, but it's about the motivation that will actually help you to face like the reality. So like what I will do in the the upcoming days, I will try to like after what I saw, I came to know that it's not about the education or not about every person has this ability to have an impact and create a change.
Wow.
It's about having this motivation and self-confidence to face the reality. So like from now on, I'll try to believe that I have this ability. And
you'll what?
I will believe that I believe that I have this ability to face reality and probably make a change.
Well
because
done.
every person has this ability.
Well said. Good job. Well said. The young man behind you.
One of the biggest takeaways that I've had in this summit was from Victor Ocean's speech. And that was
You're going to give him such a big head now. How is he going to fit on the plane with his head so inflated? We got yeah.
The biggest takeaway from the speech that I've heard was that we should really appreciate the small things in life. Because
like just having shoes.
We're too busy focusing on the things we don't have that we don't realize the things we have until we lose them, including just basic necessities like running water, electricity. A large portion of the world does not have that, and we should appreciate the privileges that we have here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. What are you going to do differently?
I will slow down for a little bit, and, well, I will, I don't know how to describe this. I'll try to be more patient.
Yeah.
I'll try to calm down with people. And
try?
I will.
Good. Give this young man a clap. Well done. How old are you? Ask him. I just want to know how old he is. How old are you?
16.
He's a 16-year-old boy. He's talking about being patient. Well done. Fantastic. Okay, the last two. Okay, we've gone over that. So we've got my German friend whose name I always forget, and then Victor, and then we've got to really wrap it up.
You can call me Khalid, my Arabic name.
What is your Arabic name?
Khalid.
Khalid, okay.
Maybe that's more easy for you.
يعني.
Hello? No, this is better. For the ladies, Khaludi, huh? It's more easy for them as well.
I see you've got stuff written down, so I hope it's not going to take long. So
No, just one sentence, because actually it was the last workshop which we had with Lina. It was very interesting not to protect the nature, to collaborate with nature. And I mean, we are always concerned about protecting, but when they open their eyes to collaborate with the nature, it makes them as a tool and a win-win situation, collaboration between the nature and humans, because nature can live without humans, but humans not without nature. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Victor, yeah, your head is so inflated, young man. I don't know what we're going to do with you.
Yeah, let me stand up. And I want to congratulate you for having the most gender-balanced panel.
Thank you.
You did a good job. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
And then, secondly, I'm humbled. I feel so grateful that I had the opportunity to come to the kingdom of Bahrain. And one day somebody asked me, when did you start working? And I told that person that since I was a child, I never was jobless. I was always working. Working hard to survive, but also working hard to help others also survive. I think that spirit has kept me moving on up to now. But coming here made me reflect on the statement I had last year when we were commemorating the Nelson Mandela's 100th anniversary in South Africa. You all know Kofi Annan, the late Kofi Annan, the former Secretary General of the United Nations. He came to me after I addressed the congregation at the Constitutional Hill in South Africa, and he said, there are a lot of good people in the world. You have not just met all of them yet. You'll meet them. You'll go around the world. But as you go to the world, take the best of Africa. Share with the world the best of Africa. And represent Africa with integrity. Give hope from Africa to the world. I'm so happy that my coming here was not about portraying how negative we are back home, but how out of the hardest moment, from the strongest wave of injustice, something good can still come out of it. And I can hear my testimony has reached out to your hearts, has helped you realize who you are. I hope I'll come back to the kingdom again. Thank you very much. I'll take back from this conference the love from Bahrain. The people of Bahrain, you are the best image of Arab world. You are the cream. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Did you want to say something? Like, quick, if you have something, if we do
if you remember regarding the wand, and I said I'd like to change the attitude of people.
Yes.
And then I've been listening to everybody talk, and everybody's talking about changing their attitude towards humanity, towards how they look at challenges ahead of them. So attitude for everybody here is a very, very important factor in how you lead your life towards yourself and others.
Great, thank you, thank you. Can I ask a big thank you for everybody on the panel? Thank you. Let's take a photo together. Huh? No, you don't. You get a pat on the back. Come forward. You don't even get that. Can we have our photographer friends come in? Good. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I'd like to present also, thank you, Habibi, present our plaques of appreciation. I'm sorry. Start with Mark. We'll start with Mark. Start with Mark. Mark, can we come up here, please, sir? Oh, sorry. This is because of the lighting. Thank you. Thank you for your efforts. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Small token. Good.
Thank you very much.
Sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And Mohammed Shukri, thank you, sir. يمدحونك وانا جد.
بارك الله فيك. Thank you.
يقولون أسودك. يعطيك الف عافية. مشكور الله يسلمك. And last but not least, Lina Al-Alimi. Yes, thank you. I know who Lina is. I had. Sorry, the timing wasn't the most appropriate.
Next time.
And stay here for a second. Lina Al-Alimi has written a fantastic book on counterterrorism. I'm about halfway through. I know I said it took me a week. Yeah, I know. I'm maybe 60% done. She's really written, I have to say, it is well researched, it is well presented, it is well written, it is the usloob is really good. So congratulations in advance on that fantastic book. Where can people find the book if they wanted to read your book?
It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, so all the online websites, but I think for Bahrain, probably Amazon would be the easiest. iTunes.
It's so there's an audio version of the book?
Yep, it's on Audible as well.
Is it in your voice?
No,
okay.
It's not.
And it's called Compassionate Counterterrorism.
Yes.
So you can get an idea of what this book is actually about. Put it on your Goodreads list. Thank you again for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay. All right, so someone is reminding me, this is the QR code that you are now all going to scan by taking out your mobiles. And you are going to scan this QR code, including you. Yeah, who's like, I'm not going to do it. No, you're going to do it. It's right here. This will take 10 seconds of your time. Thank you. Scan this QR code and just fill out the feedback form, please. This should take no longer than a minute or two. Yeah. Some of you are doing it, some of you are not. So magically, through the power of digital transformation, some sort of form should show up if you scan it and لا بالكاميرا يا هدى صوري if you don't have a QR your thing, if you take a picture of it, it should take you there directly, I think. No? Isn't that how that works? You take a picture, it takes you to a website and it opens? Okay, if you don't, or a scanner app or something. This sounded like a good idea when we said we'd do it. So what we did in the first year, we did physical feedback forms, and we thought those were inefficient, and we thought doing a QR code that you scan and you do is somehow much more efficient, but I realized that somehow this is not true. We might go back to pen and paper as we did in the past, because this QR code seems to have confused a lot of people and still seems to confuse a lot of people. Okay. Good. We'll wrap it here, guys. Can I just say my sincerest thanks to all of you who've come, especially coming in the second day, which is always the hardest day, staying all the way to lunch the second day. I really, really appreciate everyone coming here. I would like to extend again my thanks to all of the people that made this happen, from the sponsors to the organizers to my team. You guys were everyone really gave this summit such fantastic energy. I really appreciate it. My final message is, don't wait, start now. And we'll see you next year, guys. Thank you very much. Well done. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And it's lunchtime. حياكم على الغداء. Thank you.